It is that time of year where it seems like everything is after our plants. Come with me as I share with you some of the most common garden pests and how to treat them so that your flowers are gorgeous and successful all summer long. Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny, and today I want to talk with you about some of the common garden pests that you're sure to encounter this season in your garden. These are things that are extremely common, that it's not an issue of are you going to deal with them, it's more of an issue of when are you going to deal with them. So we're going to talk about what they are, how you can identify them, and then how you can treat them so that your plants can grow, bloom, and thrive during this season. All right, so first one on the list is aphids. Aphids are one of the most common pests that all gardeners deal with in a season. Even us as nursery growers, nurserymen in the greenhouse, we have to battle these guys even in January and February sometimes. So what is an aphid? An aphid is a very small, tiny, soft-bodied insect that you will find along the stems, particularly the parts of the new growth on your plants. Annuals, this is what I'm really talking about, is annuals today. So aphids will be in large numbers. They're on the stem and they can be like on the underside of leaves. Aphids, actually what they do is they go and they suck on the stem, and as they're sucking out part of the plant, then they're injecting their poison, their bacteria, whatever, and it just really harms the plant. I mean, imagine if you had like little leeches all over your body sucking on you. Basically, that's what an aphid is for the plants. So how will you know if you have them? They are very camouflaged, so they're very small, but one of the surefire ways to know that you have them is that you see these little white flakes on your leaves. What that actually is their exoskeletons. So they shed their skin as they're growing bigger, and when they shed that skin, those are those little white exoskeletons. So if you see little white flakes on your leaves, go and look really closely along the stem of your plants. Now, our Supertunias, our Superbells are really bad about getting aphids because they have a nice soft stem on that new growth. So you'll have those a lot on there. So how do you take care of them? Because if you leave them unchecked, they multiply rapidly, and if left unchecked, they can actually kill your plant. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. One, if you catch it really early, which is prevention is a great thing. So just constantly kind of go out there and give your plants a little once over. A great organic solution, simple, maybe not the most effective way, is you can just get your garden hose and blast them off. So you can just shoot them off the plant, but you would have to do that repeatedly, and they're just being sprayed somewhere else. So if you're in the middle of an annual bed, you're just taking it from one plant to another. But that is an option. Next, another way you can get rid of them that is much more effective is using insecticidal soap. So you can just Google a great recipe for insecticidal soap. It is simply, you can use dish detergent with your good old tap water. The key with the insecticidal soap is that you have got to come into contact with the aphid. So you can just go to your local hardware store and buy a little 1-gallon sprayer, or if you have an empty spray bottle from the house, you can clean that out really well and use it in that, and you're going to spray your entire plant. But you've got to come in contact with the aphids. So you've got to get the stems, the top of the leaves, and underneath the leaves. So this does not have what we call a residual effect. So it's on contact only. So once that soap hits that soft body aphid, it will smother it and kill it. With that, you will need to do it every 2 to 3 days for about 2 weeks, because they're in that continuous life cycle of the eggs, the babies, the teenagers, and the adults. So you'll have to make sure you break that cycle. Neem oil is another great thing to do. You can use that too. But with both of those, you're gonna want to do it kind of in the cool of the day. You don't wanna do it when the sun is out because that just puts kind of stress on the plant. So a great time to do it would be like right now. We're in the evening, this is kind of dusk. So go out there and spray the plant and it kills the bugs every 2 to 3 days for 2 weeks. Common in the same family as the aphids are whiteflies. Whiteflies are again extremely common, especially here in the southeast because we are hot and humid and they thrive in humid weather. They are related to the aphids, again, soft-bodied, very classic as just like with the aphid, except they're a little different. So they are actually active during the day, so you can see them. So if you come up to say a hydrangea or a gardenia or whatever kind of plant you've got and maybe you shake it or you brush against it and these little white specks just start flying in the air, those are whiteflies. So again, it's the very same thing that you're going to do with your aphids. Insecticidal soap is a great thing. You can shoot it with just a nice strong blast from the hose, but again, you want to take care of those. You want to get rid of it. Insecticidal soap, neem oil, you can use on all of those because the whiteflies and the aphids are very closely related, so you can treat them the same. Next, caterpillars. So this is a very broad range of classification of pests, but there are tons of different caterpillars, and there are caterpillars that will go on all sorts of different plants and vegetable plants and flowering plants and so forth. So again, a telltale sign of a caterpillar damage is like one day you go out there and your plant is great and she's gorgeous and she looks fantastic, and you go out the next day and like half your leaves are gone, they've been visibly chewed, like you can see like half the leaf is missing, it is gone. So that's sign number one. Sign number two is when you can see the little black pellets of poop on the leaves. In fact, just the other day, I was picking tomatoes and I saw black poop balls on the leaves. And I was like, I have a caterpillar somewhere. So I went hunting and sure enough, right above the poop was a tomato and the caterpillar was inside of the tomato eating it. So if your plant's half gone and then you see the little black pellets, then you have caterpillars. One of the most common ones for tomatoes is called the tomato hornworm. This thing is nasty and ugly. They're huge. I mean, they're like the size of my finger. Very fat, very green. They are almost the exact same color as the tomato plant. So they are very camouflaged and they are extremely hard to find because they are camouflaged. So if you see that poop, what I do is I see the poop and I work my way up because they're not fast movers. So it's going to be somewhere in that general area. You will know it because, like I said, they are big and fat, and on the top of their head they have this horn. So that is the tomato hornworm. So a great way to do that is it's simple because you're not going to have an infestation of like hundreds of them. You may have 2 or 3 on a plant. You can pick them off, but I will tell you, I don't like doing it. I mean, I do it, but I don't like to do it because their little legs are really clingy and they don't just fall right off, like they grab a hold. So if you want to put some gloves on, pull them off and then just step on them. If you have chickens, feed them to the chickens. Your chickens will absolutely love them. So those are the tomato hornworms. Baptisia here in North Carolina in our garden are really susceptible to caterpillars, but they're very small, little hairy caterpillars. And there are hundreds of them. They will cover the entire plant. So what do you do with that? A great organic solution is to use a natural organic bacteria. The abbreviation is BT. We just simply say spray some BT on it. This is the actual Latin name. Jenny's not going to even try to pronounce it, but we just call it BT. So again, it is a natural bacteria. It is organic. What it does is the caterpillars, when they chew on the leaf that has the BT on it, they ingest that bacteria and it causes their stomachs to rupture. So so they die. And but it is only harmful for the caterpillars and not for your beneficial insects. So this is safe to use, you know, around your honeybees and your bumblebees and your hummingbirds and butterflies and all of that. So the BT will take care of this massive range of caterpillars. So you can go to your local garden center, store, wherever they have pest control, and just look for a concentrate of BT, and you're going to spray, you know, follow the manufacturer's directions, and you're going to spray it on your plant, and your caterpillars will be gone. And then last but not least, here in the South, and I say in the South, but I think they're making their presence known in a lot more areas of the country. Japanese beetles. Japanese beetles are just the absolute worst bug ever. So truly, they don't go past the Mississippi River. But if you think about the Mississippi River, it pretty much cuts our country straight down from top to bottom, north to south. So you can have a lot of other areas that do have Japanese beetles other than just the South. So Japanese beetles, there will be no doubt if you have one, because they are very easy to spot. They are a hard body insect, just like other beetles. Unfortunately, there is no organic solution for your Japanese beetles. There is not a spray. There is not an organic easy solution. The only organic solution is that you go out there and you hand pick them and you put them in a bucket of soapy water and they drown. That's the organic solution. Now, if you are, in this case, fortunate to live in a small little garden area and you just have a couple of plants, then that's a great solution for you. So you can go out there and pick them. If you have big open areas, then that's not really practical. So one controversial, and I say controversial, way to treat Japanese beetles is with the bait bags. And so you can buy these just anywhere. So it's a little bag, you put it on a stake, and it attracts the beetles to come to the bag instead of your plants. The way that it's a controversy is that it actually attracts the beetles to your area, so you're bringing in more beetles than maybe you normally would. It does work, it does take care of them, but you're actually bringing in more beetles. Not all of them go to the bag, some of them still go to your plants. At this point, the only solution that if you do not want to have just major damage to your plants from Japanese beetles is that you would have to use either a systemic chemical that you would mix up a solution and you would pour around your plants, or you would have to spray your plants with some sort of insecticide. Now, we are all adults. We are all mature and responsible and have a brain that the good Lord gave us. So it is going to be up to you to decide what is the best solution for you and for your garden. Whether that is that you're hand picking, whether it's that you use the bait bags, or whether you use some sort of insecticide to spray on the plant to get rid of them. Just know that when you use insecticidal sprays on your plant, that most of the time those will kill anything that comes into contact with that plant. So you get to make the decision as your garden, and you get to decide how you treat your garden and your surroundings. One more, I forgot. I thought we were done with Japanese beetles. Oh, but no, there is another one. And I'm gonna put these together because it's slugs and snails. There is no really difference between a slug and a snail, except that a snail has a shell and a slug doesn't. And right now here in North Carolina in the South, they are rampant. They are happy little creatures because it is hot and humid and they just thrive in these conditions. You will know that you have slug damage because a lot of times you'll see the slimy trail either on your plants. It's that little shiny trail on your windows, on the ground, wherever they may be. They are nocturnal, so they only come out at night. So during the day, you may not have a clue as to what's happening to your plant, but if you were to go out at night, you would actually see them. They will actually put holes in your plants. They won't eat a whole leaf like a caterpillar does. It'll just be holes missing out of your leaves. So again, a great way to do this. This is a fun thing to do. An organic solution is they love beer. So you can actually make little beer traps. Get a little shallow dish, put it right on the ground beside of wherever your plants are that you're seeing the damage. Fill it up with some beer, come out the next morning and all those little slugs and snails will have drowned in that beer and died, I suppose, a happy death in their beer. So that is what you can do. You can do that for a couple of nights until you don't get any more. So that's a great thing to do. There are great baits, slug baits that you can actually put out onto the soil. This is, like Bonide makes an organic slug and snail bait. So this is an organic solution. It does not harm your pollinators and our good bugs. And you can use it on vegetables and everything. So it's a granular, you sprinkle it on the ground, the slugs and snails go to it, they eat it. It's very much like the BT, then it causes them to lose their appetite and then they just go off and starve to death. So you can look for those two, any kind of like I said, slug and snail bait. I know Bonide makes them, a bunch of different people make them, so you can choose whichever one is available for you. But I hope this has been informative. I hope you have been able to kind of diagnose if you're having some pest problems with your plants. I hope this has been helpful. If you will like this video, subscribe to Gardening with Creekside. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them, so stick them down there in the comments below. Hope you're having a fantastic day. So go out there, get control of your garden from those pesky pests, and have a great day, guys. See you next time.